Hi everybody, I'm Neil from Nitro Tech, and today we're going to be looking at the ACME NB16 off-road buggy. Okay, so here we have the package. It's quite a compact box, probably a little bit bigger than an A3 sheet of paper on top, and it's not particularly deep, about 100 mil deep, so quite a compact package. So anyway, let's take the lid off and see what we find inside. What we're greeted with, well, straight away a detailed instruction manual. Now everything in here that you need to know about the car the first time you run it is contained within this booklet, and it's well worth a read before you get started. But for now we're just going to set that aside because we want to have a look at what else we have. A box here which contains radio gear and then our packaged buggy. So I'll take that out and let's take a closer look at that. Out of the packaging, what do we have? A great looking buggy, but it's not quite finished. Although it's pre-built, we just have one thing to do, which is put on the rear wing. So that just goes on these posts here, and it's held on with a couple of body clips, but I'll put those on in a few moments. But straight away, this is the finished article. So we've got a really nice detailed shell, brightly colours in the kind of red and yellow scheme. Everything that you will need to run this vehicle is on the outside, so you don't have to take the body shell off every time you want to run the car. So everything is here. So you've got the pull start for this little nitro engine here. You have obviously the cooling head for the engine on the outside of the body, tuning needle for the top end, and then there's also the access to the fuel tank. So a really great and practical looking package right out of the box. So let's take the body shell off and have a look underneath. Well, actually, while we have the body shell just off, let's take a look at that first. It's made of a very durable, flexible piece of plastic. Now, one of the great features of this is the fact that it's actually painted on the inside. So it was a clear piece of plastic to begin with, and then all the decoration of the paint and what have you is applied on the inside. So that means if you scratch it, none of this paint is going to come off, so it's going to look great and be durable for a really long time. Okay, so we'll just set that aside and take a look at the car without the body shell. So straight away we can see the overall layout here. I'll just zoom you in a little bit so you can see a bit clearer. What we've got is the pull start engine just on this side, and I'll turn it around so that you can see a bit better. We've got the exhaust running down the right hand side, a little diddy compact composite exhaust, and then a really small steering servo. The gearbox for the car is central here because this is a four-wheel drive. It has a shaft running front to rear, so the gearbox to the center, and then just inside here is the braking system. So there's a little rotary brake disc there, which is a really nice, cool little feature, so that the brakes work on all wheels of the car when you apply the brakes. Okay, moving across, we've got the fuel tank with a really positively snap shutting lid, and then moving backwards we've got the throttle servo and this nice enclosed receiver box and the battery box. So none of the dirt and dust and what have you is going to interfere with the radio gear. Okay, so that's the general layout of the car. So let's have a look at some of the great features that come with this buggy. Well, not only is it great out of the box, ready to run, you don't have to change anything, but as you get a bit more experience with the car, you might want to change some of its handling characteristics. And that's easily done with this because it's very adjustable. For example, we have coilover oil fill shocks with adjustable ride height collars, and you should be able to just see them here. That allows you to change, as I say, the ride height of the vehicle. We also have a number of different mounting positions for the top. The car comes with sway bars front and rear as standard, and you can detach those and adjust those. And again, we have adjustable top links on the suspension. That's both on the front and the rear, and that allows you to change the camber angles. So quite a lot of adjustability right there. And then, as I said, same situation at the rear, nice coilover shocks, and the sway bar is already included. So straight away, if you're a bit more experienced, there's a lot that you can adjust to try and tweak the way that the car handles for you and to suit your driving style. One of the interesting features that I don't want to overlook here is the fact that underneath you can see the shape of the chassis here, where we have grub screws that come through the lower wishbones, and they allow you to adjust the amount of down travel that the suspension has, and that's a feature that you don't often see on a car of this scale, so it's worth noting. Okay, so that's kind of like the Buggy in closer detail. Let's take a look at the radio and see what we have there. Okay, so this is our 27 megahertz controller, and basically what that means is that it has a crystal in it which relates to a crystal in the car. Now you can see this one is a red tab number 3, and in the car, in the center there, you can see we have another red tab number 3. So these two need to be the same in order to get control of the vehicle. And if you notice that in the car, it's outside the radio box, so you can easily access and change it if you needed to, if other people were running on similar frequencies. That only really counts if you're wanting to run the car with other people around you with similar models. Okay, so that's the crystal side of things. On the control side of things, it's a steer wheel controller, so it's really easy and intuitive to use. We have a steer wheel, as the name suggests, and this one's coated in like a tactile rubber compound, which is really quite nice to touch actually. And then we've got the acceleration and the braking effect on a trigger down here. There's a few other little bits and pieces that are worth noting. There's a steering trim adjustment, so you can tweak the servo so that the car travels in a straight line, and you can reverse the servos if you want to change the way that those operate in standard mode. Some people like, for example, for the braking effect to be on a pull and accelerating being on push away, and you can do that with this radio. One last feature with the radio is I like this design because the battery compartment for this is in the bottom, and batteries being relatively heavy, that makes it feel really nice and balanced in the hand, so when you're using it, it just feels really comfortable. So that's the radio, a nice piece of kit to go with a nice Buggy. So let's move on. Now, before we finish up here, there's just one more thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and that's the part supply for this Buggy. Now, no matter how tough this Buggy is, if you crash it hard, it will break eventually. So what ACME have done to address this is to produce these blister packs full of the spares that you are most likely to need. So it's got wishbones, direct replacement wishbones, hubs, shock towers, there's a pinion gear in here, spur gear, drive shafts and what have you. So when you're making your purchase of this little Buggy, then this is the sort of thing that you should really be considering too, because there's nothing worse than having a model out of action because you crashed it hard and you've got a little bit of plastic broken. So that's the first thing. Okay, so that option pack is one to go for. If you can, this is the one that I'd be going for. Now this is the hop-up option pack. Basically it's a similar situation with replacement wishbones, shock towers and what have you, but here they're made out of a high quality anodized blue aluminium alloy, which actually goes really nicely with the cooling head of the car. So this is a pack that I would be going for. Not only does it look great and helps your Buggy to stand out for all the right reasons, it makes it super tough and super durable. I mean, you even get a full set of pre-built alloy shock bodies in there as well, completely built up, ready to go. And something you don't get with the basic parts package is this really nice polished tuned pipe. It's got a metal header, and it's just, in fact I'll show it to you really closely because that looks fantastic. That's just going to look great on your Buggy. So there we have. So unusually for this particular car, we've even got blister packs of spare parts that you may need. So there we go. So that's the NB16 from ACME, and you can get yours right now from nitrotech.co.uk. Okay, enjoy. Thanks. We'll see you soon.